Hello, everyone, and happy Financially Lit Tuesday! Bringing you news, tips, and tricks on how to wealth up every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. If you're tuning in from the Sipping Wealth YouTube channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any Financially Lit Tuesdays. And for those of you that are tuned in general, make sure you go ahead and drop a comment so I can know who's tuned in with us. To say, hey girl, what's up? Whatever the case may be, so that I know who's tuned in with us. So today is an awesome day. We're talking about payroll compliance, y'all. So this is huge. If you want to go ahead and make sure that you are scaling your business and getting employees, because we cannot do it all on our own, okay? If you wanted to move to the next level, you have to hire, right? So we want to make sure we're hiring the right way. And I have the amazing Trey Higgins with us today. Hey, Trey. Oh,
Hey.
Hey, so Trey is with us from ADP Solutions. So he is the Associate District Manager for Small Business Services. And he's going to go ahead and enlighten us today. Be sure to hit the share button because we don't want our friends and family to miss out on this awesome information as well. Go ahead, Trey. If you could give the people a little bit more information about yourself.
Hey, Wadeline. Well, hey, happy to be here on the show. Thank you so much for having me. So once again, my name is Trey Higgins. I'm a small business consultant with ADP Payroll. What I do is I help small businesses ranging from one employee up to 50 plus with payroll services, automating tax filings, alleviating tax liabilities, and basically majority of my business is just keeping businesses in compliance.
Yeah, and that is definitely heavy because don't want to get fined. We don't want to have to pay interest on fines. We want to stay in compliance so we can stay in business and do business the right way. So for those of you that are not aware, we're talking about S Corps today specifically because a lot of people jump into S Corps because they're like, oh my gosh, it's going to save me a lot of money, but not completely understand how to go about or why do an S Corp or how the taxation or benefits work with the S corporations. So S Corps are pass-through entities. So if the business owner, they choose this status because they want to pass the income and losses and deductions and all that good stuff and credits to the actual shareholders for when it comes to taxes. So this is when an S Corp gets elected. And one of those biggest reasons is when it comes to self-employment tax. So I know Trey is going to help us touch on it today. This is one of the biggest reasons because when a business owner elects to go ahead and go into be an S Corp, they're an employee of their business. So now they get that break as far as when it comes to self-employment tax and all those payroll taxes and things like that. But we also want to make sure if you're taking that election or if you have employees in general, because all this information could really work for payroll in general. But we're talking about specifically S Corps. What if you're jumping into the S Corp status, maybe you're making about $100K a year net profit. If you're an LLC making $100K a year net profit, that's a lot of self-employment tax that you're paying on that income. So you want to make sure that you pick a business entity that makes sense. That's going to be a lot less money for you in taxes, and also make sure that you stay in compliance. So, Trey, so what are some like benefits and things like that you have seen as far as like businesses that switch to an S Corp status from an LLC? Like how much of a savings have you really seen with it or in your experience?
Sure. Well, I think, one of the big advantages of switching, to actually being on a payroll system, when you switch that designation is really being able to, get a W-2, which helps you kind of qualify for a loan. So that's why a lot of, small business look to switch themselves is to, basically say, hey, I have a big event coming up, buying, a house, certain things like that.
Right. Yeah. And that's another thing, like W-2 versus, oh my gosh, now I have to rely completely on my business income and deductions and different things like that. And maybe your business had a lot of deductions and things like that. Well, you're a W-2 employee, so you can actually keep yourself separate from all that. if you're going for funding and things like that on a personal end. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's a good touch. What are some benefits, like overall, that you see from companies having a payroll system?
Yeah, so I'd say that one of the best benefits is basically it's allowing the business owner to go back and focus on revenue generating tasks instead of getting caught up on the administrative task of, you know, handling the taxes, handling making sure that say wages are garnished, whatever it is that's in that back end piece. A payroll system is designed to just simplify it. Instead of taking 3 to 4 hours that it can take for a larger business, we can really
Right.
knock that down to minutes.
Wow. Minutes from hours. Yeah, that's heavy. I definitely hear you on that, because a lot of business owners, they start out and they're wearing so many hats, and
Hmm.
at some point they sometimes they don't even know when to start removing those hats off, and getting other agencies like yourself involved. But it's like, hey, like, you're earning this amount of money a year, and you're running wild, but you can actually have more time to grow your business even larger if you just say, hey, Trey, just take these 4 hours off my plate so that I can spend 4 hours out in the field. I can spend 4 hours getting bigger and more clients. I can spend four
Hmm.
hours, uh, making sure my product or my service is a lot greater. So that's heavy. That's great. So what is this 60/40 rule? What is that?
Yeah. So the 60/40 rule allows owners to divide business income into two parts. So 60% of that should be your salary, 40% should be paid by the shareholder dividends. So that's kind of what you're looking at when you're setting up your business as an S corp.
Mhm.
And you can obviously take it away that one, just basically making sure that you're not, biting off more than you can chew.
Right. Gotcha. So, like, I know a lot of business owners, they're like, oh shoot, now I have to run all my income through my business. Well, one of the perks, like Trey just said, is, hey, you can take shareholder distributions, and it still has that tax incentive where you don't have to pay those self-employment tax on those distributions. So, but you do want to do that 60/40 rule. So I think that's good. It's clean cut, where it's like, okay, I don't have to pay all those taxes on, or through my W-2 on all my income. It's just 60% of it, and then the rest I can do as shareholder distributions. Now,
Mm-hmm.
how does someone find out or determine a reasonable salary to pay themselves?
That's easy. You hit up your girl Waddleen. That's how they find out. But
Right.
right. So easiest way is to find out if what's the training and experience, what's the average industry rate, time and effort towards the business, dividend history, payments to non shareholder employees, timing and manner of paying bonuses, and then compensation agreements. So those are just a couple of things that pretty much make a reasonable salary for a
Yeah,
business.
yeah. Definitely want to take all those things into account. It definitely makes sense. So tell me, this Trey, what got you started in this business? What made you say, hey, I want to make sure that I help business owners stay in compliance with payroll?
As a small business owner myself, and I try to, do as much as I can. I always wanted to learn, hey, like, how do I save the most on my taxes? So that's obviously getting into the weeds and saying, hey, like, if I'm setting up other people's businesses, what can I take from you that I can learn and put it into my own business? So that's kind of what made me want to be kind of a teacher of this. Is I wanted to dive into the weeds, and when I fall on my face, at least I can, help you avoid doing the same. So
Gotcha. That makes complete sense. So, what are one of the biggest mistakes that you've seen so far that business owners make when it comes to payroll compliance?
I'd say one of the biggest things is just right there again is the compliance factor. If you set up your business 5 years ago, you should probably get your checked out, every year just to confirm that you're staying in compliance, making sure that taxes are up to date, making sure that if you have an employee handbook that you're passing to other people,
Mhm.
everything is accurate, because the last thing that you need is any kind of suit going against your business.
Now maybe some business owners might not, even take this into account. Employee handbook. How necessary is that when having employees come into the business?
That's actually a huge thing to have, because when any kind of case happens, any kind of lawsuit that happens when it comes to a business, the number one thing that's actually brought up first is the employee handbook. Is it up to date? Is it in compliance? Those are the first two questions that are always asked. So that is probably the easiest way to answer that is if you get into trouble, that's the first thing they're looking at.
Right. Now, that had the employee handbook. Now, do you help business owners with the employee handbooks?
Absolutely. Everything from the hiring packet to the firing packet. That's what ADP will handle for you.
Look
So
at that.
we'll make sure all onboarding processes, companies, and getting them set up for direct deposits, everything of the sort.
Okay. So, what is the average cost that it takes to go ahead and start payroll? Say 1 to 5 employees.
Sure. So I'll kind of how it all works out is we have an ADP, a small, medium, and large package. What I'll do is I'll kind of just give you just a basic number, and then there's always one-offs. If anybody's ever interested, please feel free to reach out to me, and we can kind of dive into if you do weekly, monthly, semi-monthly, things of that sort. But to give you an idea, for the small package, which is just payroll for the business, you're looking at biweekly $60 for up to 2 employees, 270 additional after. So if you have 3 people, you're looking at 6270. For the mid-size package, which handles more of the recruiting services, onboarding services, and basically the small HR pieces for business, you're looking at for a biweekly 85 up to 345 additional. And then for a larger one, which includes legal support, includes the recruiting services, further HR support where you almost have an HR representative on hand.
Okay.
That's 150 for up to 2, and then 360 additional. So, like I said, there's one-offs in that where some people may pay, monthly, some people may pay quarterly, or even,
Right.
weekly. So if you're ever interested in looking into that, feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to kind of go over things.
Absolutely. That's definitely huge. What are some of these penalties? What do they look like? As far as like
So,
if a business owner is out of compliance.
so to give you a really easy example, one of our payments for 2 years will handle one suit.
Wow.
We'll handle that. Like a very easy thing that people again fall out of compliance with is the employee handbook. You can get about a $5,000 to $10,000 penalty based just off of that.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely. I don't know about y'all, but I don't know if I want $5,000 coming out because I don't have an employee handbook. All right, so thank you, Trey. Appreciate it. So, where can they go to find out more information, or actually like find you or reach out to you?
Yeah, you can always give feel free to give me a shout. You can always give me a call or shoot me a text. My number is area code 843-301-6486. My email treyhagins@adp.com.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you, Trey. I appreciate you being here on live with us tonight with Financially Lit Tuesday. For those of you that missed the beginning of this live, be sure to rewatch and go ahead and comment rewatch so that we know. Again, Trey, what's that phone number that they could reach you at?
Absolutely. 843-301-6486.
Awesome.
And that email is trey.hagins@adp.com.
Okay. Awesome. Numbers on the screen, y'all. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of Financially Lit Tuesday. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday and every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m., where we bring you news, tips, and tricks on how to wealth up. Thank you, Trey.
Thank you so much.